Z did it again. He pulled off the Michigan. We'll talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There we go. Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, or TLOPN. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez. I've been covering hockey for well over a decade. I'm also currently the public address announcer for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and this is a bonus episode. Actually, believe it or not, on this Christmas Eve, we have not one, but two bonus episodes on this Christmas Eve. We are, of course, going to be off for the Christmas holiday. So first, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. An annual tradition coming right after this one. So don't go away, folks. In the meantime, let's talk about the Michigan, shall we? Yeah, the big story, the only story. Trevor Zegras pulled off the Michigan again. Yeah, he did it again, folks. Trevor Zegras, the I guess some people will still call him the quote-unquote trick shot merchant. Yeah, trick shot merchant is what they're calling him. But he pulled off a lacrosse goal, but I called the Michigan, against the Seattle Kraken. Now, I will admit I didn't watch this live because I was doing public address for the Firebirds, and it was teddy bear toss night. So, of course, it was a little bit weird when my phone started blowing up. First off, it blew up before the game as I was getting ready when I saw Connor Bedard pull off a lacrosse or a Michigan goal against the St. Louis Blues. Against Jordan Binnington. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. So Bedard scores one against St. Louis. Z probably saw that and went, all right, hold my beer. And that's exactly what happened. But that's not actually what happened. He didn't actually say, like, hold my beer. This is because of Ducks reporter Ali Lozoff, someone that we all love in Ducks land. So Ali Lozoff did an interview with Trevor Zegras before the game where she said that her Christmas wish was to see a lacrosse goal or a flying Z goal, like a trick goal. That's what she wanted. And of course, Z kind of laughed and said, I'll see what I can do. And what did he do? He pulled off a ridiculous goal. Let me set up exactly how this went down. So this is in the third period. Ducks are already down in this game. So in comes Trevor Zegras. Now, this was kind of a broken play for Trevor Zegras, where as he's going into the right side, Pavel Minchkov kind of does a little drop pass to Trevor Zegras. And what happens next, it certainly amazed me. Z, on that end, went full on just in one motion, gets the puck on the blade of his stick, gets it upright, it sticks to his stick, and Z to his left just roofs it right off of Joey Daccord, a goalie that I love. I love Joey Daccord. One of my favorite guys. Little backstory. Joey Daccord was the goaltender, the main goaltender for the Coachella Valley Firebirds last season. He helped lead the Firebirds to that incredible run that they had to the Western Conference Championship, to the Calder Cup Finals. So Joey, now the number one goalie for the Seattle Kraken. And while Joey Daccord did get the win, I'm sure he'll be seeing that goal and going, oh man, what the heck went down? So Joey Daccord did go from his left to his right. Perfect lateral movement. Joey Daccord, if you look at a couple of views of the replay, Joey Daccord even raised his shoulders up a little bit because he did know it was coming. Like in a post game, Joey said, like, yeah, I tried. Like he actually like stood up, tried to take away as much of the goal as possible. So Joey knew what he was doing, and he still couldn't stop it. He still couldn't do it. It's like, what the heck? Like, try it. Yep, didn't happen. Joey Daccord, the latest on a long list of goaltenders that have been scored on via the Michigan. And this with Wenberg, who else was there? Wenberg, Vince Dunn was in front of that. Riker Evans, another former Firebird. Riker Evans, one of the all defensemen for the AHL last season. He was right in front of the net. Now, here's the thing. No one covered him behind the net. Nobody was there. Z was all by himself behind the net because Trevor did know this from the pregame video. He also knew this from scouting. The Seattle Kraken are very good at protecting the net up front. Like I mentioned, the Kraken had 3 guys in front of the net. Wenberg, Dunn, Evans. There was no pass available for Trevor Zegras. None at all. The only pass available to him was back to the point, and that's a lower percentage shot. So that's one instance where I say, you know what? That's a perfect shot. Now, I know there's going to be some of you watching that are not Ducks fans going, all Zegras is good for is these trick shots. Oh, he's just out for the highlight reel goals. He's not looking to win games. He just wants the highlights. Okay, first off, I'm gonna be kind because it's the holidays, but blank you and the horse you rode in on, because that he didn't do that just for the sake of being a trick shot. He did that because that was the best possible play in front of him. Like I mentioned, 3 guys out in front, no pass out in front. Okay, when you have 3 guys guarding the front of the net, Killorn was there. What can Killorn do when he's got everybody draped on him? Nothing he could do there. So don't pass it to Killorn. All right, fine. Who else was he going to pass it to at that point? Around the horn? Was he going to pass it around the horn? And again, that would be a lower percentage shot? No, he's not going to do that. The lacrosse goal, or the Michigan, was the perfect opportunity to get a goal, because that's the point of a hockey game, right? You play to win the game. To quote a famous football coach, you play to win the game. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. So for those of you saying that he just did it for the clicks, for the likes, okay, be quiet, please. He tried to win the game. The Ducks were within 1 goal yet again in a 3-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken. And I'm actually not going to break down this game. This is going to be all about Trevor Zegras, because this is not the first time he's done this. It won't be the last time he's done this. Trevor Zegras has done this stuff so many times in his career, even going back to his days with the San Diego Gulls, that I'm used to this by now. I'm completely used to this. So what we're going to do is head to a very short intermission, and I'll talk more about Trevor Zegras, his past lacrosses. We'll get to that on the other side. Welcome back to this special bonus edition, part 1 bonus edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Once again, you're locked in with Jason J.D. Hernandez, talking all about Trevor Zegras, because I'm not dumb. I know that's what you all want to talk about. You all want to talk about Trevor Zegras. Before I continue about the amazingness of Zegras, I'm just going to say, after the game, he did acknowledge that it was another close game. This felt like a winnable game against the Seattle Kraken. Joey Daccord was good. Daccord was very good for the Seattle Kraken on this game. But for those of you that are Kraken fans, you know this. The Ducks had a whopping 34 shots on net and somehow still lost this game. The Ducks only got 1 penalty, yet still somehow lost this game. Okay, so The Ducks did a lot of things better. A lot of things better. And still lost. Joey Daccord was one of the best players on the ice. A very good game score on hockey stat cards, positive 1.58. The expected goals against him was 3.58. The Ducks even had better chances deep inside. So he was fine. Lukáš Dostal, not exactly his best game, but I'll leave that one alone because it's Christmas and it is a loss, so I don't want to be too down. But overall, it was still a good game. The Ducks had the better chances. They had the better expected goals. Little bit of puck luck didn't go their way. That's how it goes sometimes. Seattle was a perfect 1-for-1 on their power play. You know, that's what it is. That's just what it is. One penalty. That's all it was. So Ducks lose by a goal again, but Trevor Zegras was the star as far as highlights, as far as everybody talking about it, and he should be, because this was his first game back. This was Trevor's first game back in Anaheim. I saw the comments. Oh, you're pumping up Z way too much. Oh, like, you should trade, like, oh, no, first off, yes, I saw one person in the comments say to trade him. No, absolutely don't trade him. As I just mentioned, that was the best possible way to score a goal, and he freaking did it. He big fat did it. But not the first time. Let me throw it all the way back to spring of 2021, March 2021 to be precise. One of the better trick goals, and the only one that I've actually seen in person. This was back during the bubble games of the American Hockey League, where the Gulls were playing in Irvine and the Reign were playing in El Segundo. So these were bubble games. Not many people were able to work it or watch it, etc., etc. So there was a game that took place at Toyota Sports Center in El Segundo between the San Diego Gulls and the Ontario Reign. This one, I still can't believe I saw this one in person. During warm-ups, Trevor Zegras was even practicing some trick stuff, and I went, okay, he's probably going to want to try something on this one, and I personally was excited to get to watch Trevor Zegras try to pull this off in person. Like, I was excited. And also there was a former GM, but we're not going to talk about that shine, that glare that was right in front of me. But anyway, yeah, he was there too. But what I saw, Trevor Zegras used the tip of his stick. He didn't lacrosse it, but he used the tip of his stick to get it past JF Berube of the Ontario Reign. Did I get a little bit excited? I didn't cheer because not allowed, but I did go like, whoa. I did have a reaction, as did everybody else there. There wasn't any loud cheers, but there was definitely some whoa and some ooh. So that's not cheering. Let me be perfectly clear. Saying ooh or whoa is not cheering. But that's just a natural reaction from when you see a freaking exciting goal like that. So that was the first time I saw him do something just ridiculous. Was off the tip, the toe of the stick, and just kind of flicked it. He just flicked it just above JF Berube. So good goal by him. Now let's go back to December 7th, 2021. This wasn't a lacrosse goal, but a lacrosse pass, where Trevor Zegras faked a Michigan, passed it over the nets to Sonny Milano off of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen at Buffalo. That's the one that broke the internet. That's the one that broke Twitter and made everyone go BS crazy. That was still one of my favorite goals. That's the one where Trevor Zegras went like this. He had his hands over his head, staring at Sonny Milano going, oh my God. I can't believe that worked. Still one of my favorite things to this day. So the Flying Z. Then, just a month later, January 27th, 2022, he pulls off the Michigan to his left off of Samuel Montembeault. in Montreal. So he does the Michigan and Montreal in front of no crowd, and I still can't believe there was no crowd there, but whatever. It was weird times. It's funny saying it was weird times, and that was only 23 months ago. Woo! So he pulls off the Michigan against Montembeault. And then a couple months later, April 1st, 2022, in Arizona against the Coyotes in a suburb of Phoenix, he scores the Michigan again off of Vejmelka. He had to do it around Sonny Milano. That's the one that still pisses me off, not because of the Michigan, but because of how the Coyotes reacted. You know, that whole injury in Troy Terry, the announcer being a complete you-know-what. That was still bad. Now let's go to November 9th, 2022. Wait, what? Why? Why am I going back to November 9th, 2022? He didn't score a Michigan goal. Yes, he did, but it's not an official goal. He did pull off the Michigan off of Philip Gustafson of the Minnesota Wild at the pond. So that was a Michigan goal that got called back because of an offsides review. And they reviewed it, and sure enough, it was offsides. Thanks so much, Dmitry Kulikov. Thanks so much for that. Otherwise, this would have been his fourth Michigan goal. And finally, last night, pulled it off. So Joey Daccord joins a list with Philip Gustafson, Vejmelka, Montembeault, Luukkonen, Berube. So Joey Daccord, welcome to the Z list. Ooh, that's what I'll call it, the Z list. That being said, that's going to do it for this bonus episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks. We'll be back later tonight with a tradition unlike any other on this particular podcast. I haven't really done this on video too much, so it'll be a little bit different. But on the audio side, I've done this a few times before. Yeah. Some of you that are long-time listeners, or those of you that are everydayers, you know what's coming on Christmas Eve night. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget this podcast is free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, ad-free on Amazon, also on YouTube. So subscribe there. You can follow me on Twitter at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter's at LO_Ducks. Once again, thank you all for your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. For Locked On Anaheim Ducks, I'm Jason J.D. Hernandez saying have a great rest of your holiday season, your Christmas Eve, your Christmas. Please remember to be safe out there. Be kind to one another, especially in this Christmas season. And Ducks fly together.